very good. If you can repeat, there may be some newcomers also who could not attend. So somebody must write down or have their own notes and repeat. So these things are not so easy. Here got some more chairs, please come. Here. I do not know what to talk. My storehouse of consciousness is empty now. Today, I have decided to explain the real nature of an Arahant, because there are many misunderstandings, imaginations, controversies also regarding this word Arahant. I think all of you know that there are three vehicles or three ways for us to find out our final salvation. Buddha, Pacceka Buddha, Arahant. These are the three ways. Achievement. Again, the controversy between Theravada and Mahayana. According to Mahayana schools of Buddhism, becoming an Arahant is a selfish idea, they say, for their own salvation. But Theravada Buddhism is the original form of Buddhism. Introduced these three methods and also explained. Since it is very difficult for a person to become a Samma Sambuddha, Supreme Enlightened Buddha, there are two more methods. Either to attain Pacceka Buddha, also a person who gains enlightenment but always keep away from the society, never associate with the public. So they are known as private Buddha. That word is not suitable, private. There is no privacy. And solitude. Keep away from the public. That is their nature. We cannot ask why. They don't like. Now that is their way of life. And such Pacceka Buddhas never appear during the time of a Samma Sambuddha. Then the last method is Arahant. Becoming a perfect, holy person who has eradicated all the mental impurities. These are the three methods. Since Arahantas are not fully enlightened to enlighten others, then Mahayana says, it is not advisable to become Arahantas. What they say, everybody must try to become a Buddha to save others. But this saying is contradicting to the basic teachings of the Buddha. Please remember, contradicting. Why? First and foremost, we must understand there is no such thing as saving others in Buddhism. Very clearly the Buddha has mentioned this. I cannot save you, but I can tell you what to do. Tumhehi kiccang atappang akkhataro Tathagata. Here, this is the saying. Tathagatas, or the Buddhas, can tell you what to do and how to find out, how to gain your own salvation. Another person, either God or Buddha, cannot give you salvation. Very clearly Buddha has made it. Don't depend on another person to find out your salvation. You have to work for that. Otherwise, as a lazy man, every day you can go and pray, asking your God, asking your Buddha, asking your Bodhisattvas to gain your salvation. It never come true. It never happened. Because another person cannot do this. Therefore, we never agree with that belief or their saying that either Buddhas or Bodhisattvas can save us. Then, what is the difference between an Arahant and a Buddha? Still, many people cannot understand. The Buddha is known as enlightened or awakened, supreme, enlightened Buddha. But Arahantas are not supreme enlightened persons, but they are perfect, holy, religious people, harmless people, honest people, kind people, understanding people. All the good qualities and the virtues are there. But their knowledge, their understanding, their wisdom, their enlightenment cannot compare with the Buddha. Because after learning and practicing the teachings of the Buddha, they attain Arahanta by following the teachings of the Buddha. Now what we are doing here is we are following and practicing the teaching. But it is up to us to aspire, determine whether we want to become an Arahant or Pacceka Buddha, if not a Samma Sambuddha. Up to us. If you want to become a Samma Sambuddha like Sakyamuni or Gautama the Buddha, then you have to complete all the qualities. Simply by praying or worshipping, you never gain it. You know how he had to work, how he had to sacrifice, how he had to tolerate and suffer life after life in order to gain this enlightenment. So if you are also ready to undergo all these sufferings, difficulties, problems, if you also can maintain, uphold all the great qualities and virtues, if you also can develop your knowledge and wisdom and understanding up to that maximum level, then one day you also can become a Buddha. But you never gain this from another person. Then, if you think it is very difficult, and what you need is to find out your final salvation, right? Then you have to develop this aspiration, determination. By knowing the existing here in this world, in this samsara, that we had to suffer life after life. Enormous problems and worries and troubles and difficulties and calamities and fightings and crying and millions and what. No end. Every day we are worrying and fighting and working. Since there is no contentment or satisfaction in our lives, whether we are rich or poor, makes no difference. Worries are the same. Problems are the same. fear and uncertainty in everything are the same. No difference. Then we try to cultivate our way of life. When we try to cultivate our way of life, we had to do some service to others. So without serving others, without helping others, without sacrificing for the benefit of others, we cannot become an Arahant. Therefore that allegation is wrong, that Arahantas are selfish. If they are selfish, they never become Arahant. They have to sacrifice everything, life after life. They too practice paramitas. But the duration, the period that they have to practice is limited. But in the case of Sammasambuddha, had to practice such a long period, that is for perfect or supreme enlightenment. This is the difference. Again, 10 paramitas, 10 perfections, those who want to attain Arahanthood practice only one method, because every paramita there are 3 stages. Take Dana, Dana Paramita, Dana Upaparamita, Dana Paramartha Paramita. 3 ways, 3 stages. Meaning, contributing or donating something for the benefit of others. That is the first stage. Anyone can do that. But the second stage of this dana is donating something from your physical body, like blood and eyes and kidneys or anything. That one is higher than that. Paramartha, highest dana, sacrificing the whole life for the benefit of others, to maintain principles, virtues, without violating. We may die in the process of our struggle to maintain our good principle. We know that we had to face, but we are not scared of that. That is the highest. So one who wants to become a Buddha must practice all these 10 paramitas according to those 3 stages. But person who is going to become an Arahant, not necessary to complete all the 3 stages. Now you can see the difference. First item is enough. Just sacrifice something. Practice charity. Practice dana. Contribute something. Not necessary to go further. If they like, they can do so, but not compulsory. See the difference now. Then the time, how long they had to practice until they gain perfection to eradicate their mental defilement. Just to eradicate mental defilement, that's all. Then, the perfections or 10 paramitas you have heard, you have learned earlier. So without working for the benefit of others, without sacrificing own pleasure for the happiness or the benefit of others, a person cannot become an Arahant. If that person maintains some sort of selfishness by disregarding others, that he wants to find out his own salvation, that person never become an Arahant, because that attitude is wrong. Then, what is the definitions of this word, Arahant? When you mention the 9 great virtues of the Buddha, Itipiso Bhagava Arahant. So we can use this word Arahant for the Buddha also. we don't use only that word. We always say Arahang Samma Sambuddho. Arahang Samma Sambuddho. The definition is Arahang Arahoti Namena Arahang Papang Nakare Arahat Phalang Patto Arahang Namate Namo. That is the meaning. Arahang, the normal meaning is worthy. Worthy of something. Worthy of respect. Worthy of honor. Worthy of offering. Because he is holy. Worthy of respect. So one meaning is Arahant is worthy one. Another meaning, Arahang Papang Nakaraye. Now that is very important. The only person who never made mistake or commit any evil deeds, even secretly. Remember this. Arahang means no secret. But all the others, good people, religious people, educated people, cultured people, when you study very carefully, there are some sort of secret behind it. Others cannot understand. Hypocrisy, cunningness, selfishness, certain degrees of these bad elements are there in their mind. Therefore, they make mistake secretly. They don't do openly, knowing that they are wrong. So they are not perfect. Arahants have no secret. There is nothing for them to do behind the curtain. This is the nature of their life. That is why we introduce them as perfect human beings. So we are not perfect. Maybe 50% or 75% perfect. But still we have secret. We have hypocrisy, we have selfishness. And Arahant, if we want to compare with any living being in this world, we can compare with a small baby. This small baby is very innocent. Cunningness, cruelty, jealousy, evil forces, selfishness, these are not noticeable. Potentials are there, developing in the mind, but not visible. That is why everybody loves a baby, a child. Even a cruel man or some animals also. There are some animals who don't like to destroy or disturb or kill babies. So Arahants also exactly like those small babies. So innocent. Never made any mistake. But they have lot of virtues and good qualities and knowledge and wisdom also. But cannot compare with the Buddha. Then another meaning, Arahang Arahoti Namena Arahang Papang Nakare. They never commit any sins and even any mistake secretly also. Arahat Phalang Patto. They have attained the higher stage of sainthood. You know there are 4 stages, isn't it? Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahant. 4. That is the highest. To attain these stages, one after the other, we had to reduce, eradicate so many heavy things we are keeping in our mind. So when we attain the higher stage of Arahant, our life becomes very, very light, now very heavy. Because our burdens and responsibilities and commitments and other things are very heavy. But they are free from all these commitments and bondages and responsibilities and worldly conditions. Higher stage. To attain the first stage, we had to completely eradicate 3 defilements from the mind. What are those 3? Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikiccha, Silabbata Parama. Only 3 things. Of course, there are many other things, but these are very strong, hidden forces in our mind. Sakkaya Ditthi, this is the most difficult thing for us to get rid of. Self-illusion. The imagination that we maintain, there is a self. It is imagination. So we use this word, mind, not myself or yourself. That gives different meaning. It is not a religious term. It is for our conversation. Myself, my soul. Here self means soul or spirit. It is an imagination. As long as we maintain this belief that there is a self, then we develop our egoism. That is the danger. Egoistic ideas. I did that. I and my. Most of our problems today are based on this I and my. Claim. So when we get rid of this belief of self, we don't develop this self. Then the mind is free. After that we never fight, we never grumble, never accuse others about my or self or I. See, not so easy thing as you believe. You think simply by praying to somebody you can become a saint. Then the second one, Vicikiccha, a skeptical doubt. That means still we are not sure whether the Buddha is really enlightened person or not. We do not know. We have some doubt. And we are not sure about his dharma. He says, or people say, if we practice this dharma, we also can gain enlightenment and attain salvation. But we are not sure. Doubt. And we believe that there will be another life after our death. But sometimes creates some sort of doubt in our mind, whether it is true or not. Again we believe the bad things that we do commit create bad effect. But we can see many people are doing very well after committing all sort of evil. And then we ask, how can we there? Doubt. So we had to get rid of this kind of doubts, my dear friend. When it is clear, when your mind is clear, then you are ready. You are on the way to attain the first stage of sin. That means now you have unshakable confidence. Nobody in this world who can change your mind. Now, people can change your mind. Third one, Silabbata Parama. also very common among all the existing religions. The belief in so many rites and rituals and ceremonies and performances and torture, self-torture and punishments and penalties, thinking that they can find out their salvation through these practices, by performing all these things. We had to get rid of this belief. These practices are our traditional, cultural practices. There may be some religious significance in certain practices, but only through these practices it is impossible for us to find out our salvation unless we cultivate our way of life. Now, these are the three things. So if you can maintain these three qualities in your mind, then very easily you can attain the first stage of sainthood, Sotapanna. Now then the second stage. This is a gradual development. No one can jump at once. Sakadagami. Only one life after that. Saka means one. No more two rebirths for that person. Because reduce the mental defilements. To attain the second stage, we had to reduce only two weaknesses. Since they are very strong in our mind, we cannot eradicate them at once. And we can suppress, subdue, control. What are those two things? Kama raga and patika. See, very strong. Our craving for worldly pleasure, very strong. We are crazy to indulge all the senses, even by adopting wrong method, crooked method. So we can reduce this, but cannot eradicate at once. So still remain. Craving for worldly, sensual pleasure. Then attain the second stage. When you reduce these two. Third stage, anagami. Anagami means never come back to this world. One, because we have cut off so many bondages here. To attain the third stage, anagami, we had to eradicate those two that we have suppressed in the second stage. The second one is patika. First item is craving for pleasure. Second one is patika, ill will, hatred. Very strong. We want to take revenge, keep grudge. Throughout our life, we maintain this. By nature, I can give a very simple example for you to understand. By nature, from the very beginning in our life, how we like to take revenge. Do you know? Supposing a baby fell down, accidentally, hurt very badly, then start to cry, crying and crying and crying. Then the mother come and carried this baby and goes to somebody and beat that person. When mother starts to beat another person, baby stop crying and start to laugh. Did you notice this? See, that baby want to take revenge for that. Because the mother wanted to show that he is responsible for this. Baby stop crying and start to laugh. See how strong this in our mind from our childhood. So hatred, our ill will or grudge is there. That is why it is difficult for us to get rid of this at once. So craving for worldly pleasures, craving for, or not craving, I mean the hatred, completely wipe out, eradicate from our mind. Now, 5 things are no more, free. Now 3rd stage, not yet attain Arahants. 5 more for us to reduce. There are 10 altogether. These are known 10 fetters. Dasa Sangyojana. Dasa means 10. 10 fetters, bondages. We are here, we suffer because of these 10. What are those 5? Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Mana, Uddhacha, Avidya. 5. Still active in our mind, even after attaining the 3rd stage of sainthood. People, due to their lack of understanding, very easily get fed up with some religious people, or monks or priests, when they happen to see that they make some mistake. Although they have not yet attained even the 1st stage of sainthood. Here you can see people who have attained even the 3rd stage of sainthood also still maintain so many human weaknesses in them. I'll explain this one. There was a man during the Buddha's time, Sakya, related to the Buddha. Sarkani Sakya, his name. Very devout, religious man. Everybody knows he is a very devout devotee. At the same time, everybody knows that he drinks every day. He never gives up his drinking. After his death, some of the disciples approached the Buddha and asked, actually what happened to him? We know he was a very devout Buddhist, but we know he used to drink a lot. What is his destiny? The Buddha asked, do you know, he has already attained the 1st stage of sainthood. He was a Sotapanna. That means, even a person who has attained Sotapanna, the 1st stage of sainthood, still can make mistake and break all the 5 precepts. Why? Craving for pleasure still working in their mind. But not like ordinary men. Under certain circumstances, they may break. That means they are not exempted. So, still they have their human weaknesses. We must understand this. How long it will take for us to reduce our weaknesses. We know very well our anger, our jealousy, our selfishness are very bad. We know. There is no argument. But have you got courage to withdraw all these things at once? Cannot. That is why it will take a long time for us to train. We cannot train our mind by force. Impossible. Only through understanding. That is why the Buddha started his mission with right understanding. Eight Noble Paths. First item, right understanding. True understanding, not by force, not by torturing. Understanding. That is why knowledge is important. Now you are here to gain this knowledge. After gaining this knowledge, you consider. This knowledge gives support to develop your understanding. Then you get the courage. Give up. I don't want to do this anymore. Then determination. That is one of the paramitas, one of the perfections. You determine through understanding. So what are these five fetters? Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Mana, Uddhacha, Avidya. Craving for fine material world. What does it mean? They have no craving toward this world anymore. But they like certain Brahma realm, where those Brahmas have very radiant, pleasant, pleasing, soothing features. Still they have craving for that. Those who meditate and achieve some development also get the chance to be born there. They have to get rid of this. Still it is under worldly condition, under samsara. Arupa raga. Another kind of Brahma realm where there are Brahmas without any physical body, visible physical body. That means they are free from all those problems that we are facing. We had to face sicknesses, old age and ache and pains and so many problems. But they are free from all these problems since they are not holding any physical body. Then there is some difficulty for you to understand. How can life exist without a physical body? Formations of a physical body take place due to combinations of elements and forces and energies and mental energies. But when we go on developing higher and higher and higher and higher, the degrees of elements in our physical body also going on reducing and reducing and reducing. That is why devas and spirits and angels and Brahmas are invisible to our naked eye. So the formations of their physical body is not like ours. Degrees of elements. So when we reach the higher stage of Brahma, that particular stage, no visible physical body, but the life is there. We carry this up to the last stage. Never give up. That is why I always say, we are proud. You say, we are proud to be Chinese. I can say, I am proud to be a Sinhalese. Yes, that is called pride. I am proud to be a Buddhist. It is un-Buddhistic. If you say, I am proud to be a Buddhist, it is un-Buddhistic. The pride is not a very healthy word. So one day, we had to get rid of this pride. Then, it was. There's a beautiful saying in Zen meditation school. Learning Buddhism is to learn ourselves. Understand? There's nothing for us to learn from outside. If you say you are learning Buddhism, that means you are trying to learn about yourself. So the Buddha Buddha said the whole world is within you. Right? Then, learning yourself, then you have to learn about yourself. Learning yourself is to forget yourself. When you forget yourself, you think all are equal. Understand? No discrimination, no Chinese, no Sinhalese, no Indians. When you come to that stage. So learning yourself is to forget yourself. When you forget yourself, there won't be any problem. That is the highest development in meditation. Now here, the pride that we maintain in our mind up to the last stage. So we have to drop this. Then we feel all are equal. No discrimination. Then, Uddhacca. This is another peculiar type of mental hindrance. Uddhacca means some sort of restlessness in our mind without any reason. And we do not know why. We cannot give any reason why. Restlessness. We have everything. And we do not know what we really want. But we are not happy. Restlessness. What is it? Can you tell me what it is? Cannot. Sankhara. Mental formation. Mental tendencies. Remaining. Mental attitudes. Are still going on haunting, disturbing our mind. According to the modern psychology, we can say subconscious mind. In our subconscious mind still remain certain defilement, sediment, little bit of sediment of mental defilement. So these things occasionally project to our mind. Then we feel some sort of uneasiness or restlessness. Because this person has not yet eradicated all his mental defilements. Then the last one is avidya. That is the main culprit. Avidya means lack of understanding of Four Noble Truths. You see, person who has developed his mind up to that extent through Buddhism, practicing, understanding, still there is no clear vision, clear picture of realization of Four Noble Truths. It is very easy for us to say Four Noble Truths. Suffering and cause of suffering and the suffering method to get rid of suffering. That's all. Take one item, analyze and see whether we can understand. When the mind is free from that ignorance, that avidya, no more mental defilement in that person's mind, then attain perfection or arahant. So after attaining the arahantahood, no more rebirth. Why? No craving, no anxieties, no mental disturbances, and never crave for another life. Doesn't like. Has suffered more than enough. Then the difference in their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That is very important. all those Arahantas divide into 4 groups. All are not equal. So we should not think all those who have attained Arahantahood or perfection with same knowledge or can remember their previous birth and can read others' minds. No. There are differences. It depends on the method they practiced earlier to gain this sainthood, Arahanta. What sort of meditation? Whether it is samatha or vipassana, if not mere understanding without any meditation, realization, if not by using their full effort and energy day and night, working, could manage to get rid of their defilement. And how long they have practiced this mental training and their background, what they have done during their previous birth, life after life, in order to gain this perfection or Arahanta. When you read many of those stories in Dhammapada, you can see uneducated people, even robbers, gangsters, farmers, laborers, after listening to the Buddha, at once, instantly, either attains Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami or Arahanta at once. We cannot believe this because we do not know the secret. And we do not know how they have prepared earlier during their previous birth. So their background. Those who can understand what they have done previously, they can understand how they attained this sainthood so easily. Then you can ask, in that case, why they were leading very irreligious life, like robbers or gangsters, because although they have prepared everything, due to certain karmas that they have done during their previous birth, rebirth has taken place. Because of that particular karma, they are leading that way of life. If there is anybody to guide them, change their way of life, then they get the chance to come back, to go back. That is what the Buddha did. That is why the Buddha is needed here. Only for that. Children attain sainthood or Arahants because they have prepared everything. Minds are ready, like a lotus bud. Just come out the water, they know. Why we cannot attain this? We are observing 5 precepts, 8 precepts, we meditate, we listen to Dhamma, we try to avoid so many bad things, try to be good, but still, why? Just started. That is the only answer, just started. So our background is not very rich. That is why it is difficult. But we can continue. Now within this lifetime, we have already laid the foundation. Then very easily you can continue in your next life. Then life after life. So this is a gradual development. So attainment of Arahantahood is one of the vehicles to attain Nirvana. Then there is another question. Whether there is any difference between the Buddha and Arahant when they attain nirvana, any discrimination. Whether the Buddha can enjoy more in nirvana because he is a supreme enlightened person, and Arahants less than the Buddha. What is your opinion? Do you think both can experience the same bliss, same salvation, same happiness, or whether there are any differences? What is your opinion? Example. Now you want to go to Singapore. Those who got money go by plane. Only 45 minutes. Those who got money also can go by Mercedes-Benz aircons and not tired and very easily, but take time, at least 8 hours. Those who are poor, they travel by train or by bus. It's not by motorbike. It's not by pedaling bicycle. But how long will it take to reach Singapore? The time, you can see the difference. But all those people who travel by plane and bus and car and motorbike and bullock cart also can reach Singapore. After reaching there, Singapore never discriminates. Or you cannot enjoy here because you came by bullock cart. Same. No difference. Same bliss, same happiness, same salvation. Then what is the difference? The Buddhas can enlighten and educate and pave the way for others to find out their salvation. Arahants are not perfect for that. They are not strong enough. Their knowledge is not strong enough to enlighten others. They too can that, but not like the Buddha. The main reason is this. I have told you, there are 6 special characteristics. Shat asadharana jnana. You can find only in a Buddha, Supreme Buddha. Even Pacceka Buddha, Arahants, or any other religious teachers in this world, you cannot find these 6 qualities. Among those 6 qualities, called Asayanusaya jnana. That means the Buddha is the only person who can understand our mentality, our understanding capacity, our way of thinking, how far we have prepared to understand this or to gain this salvation. How far we have prepared earlier. Only Buddha can understand. By knowing this, he preached in such a way to open that particular person's mind. But Arahants cannot do this. They simply preach. Some are benefited, many are not. Because Arahants do not know how to do that. This is the difference. Now let me explain. I told you we can divide into 4 groups all the existing Arahants. Another thing, don't accept anybody as an Arahant very loosely. Oh, he's an Arahant. People say he's an Arahant, not knowing the qualities and the virtues and the knowledge and the the holiness. When we see very kind-hearted, a good nature, and very sober, very serene person, at once we say, he's an Arahant. Even during the Buddha's time, when you see how many stories are there in Dhammananda, the other disciples of the Buddha also had doubt whether this person had attained Arahanta or not. Then reported to the Buddha. So according to his indication, it seems he has attained Arahanta Is it true? Then the Buddha says yes. Otherwise, those monks never accept. Get the confirmation from the Buddha. Some others can pretend. That is why I told you, Arahants never pretend. There's nothing behind the curtain. I don't know whether I got enough time. Now coming to 9:30, isn't it? What do you think? Can? Those who have achieved full final attainment without any byproduct, their minds are absolutely purified, perfected, is their task with regard to mind development. There being for them no rebirth. In other words, they have not minimized their requirement for such attainment and are endowed with no additional qualities. That means one group of Arahants, only majority of them, just eradicated all mental defilements, attain perfection, and become holy, harmless, innocent, good people. That's all. They cannot perform miracles. They cannot read your mind. They cannot appear and disappear. They cannot cure your sicknesses. These are the things that you expect. Just holy, pure, noble person. So we have to appreciate only perfection, nobility and holiness. Arahants. They are worthy of respect, worthy of honor and no secret. One group, majority. Do you know when you read that book, Milinda Panya, King Milinda's questions and answers? This ruler had so many doubts about the Buddha's teaching. He discussed these problems with many scholars and monks who lived in India at that time. He could not get the answer. The book says, at that time, there were 500 Arahants. None of them could give the correct answer. Now, this is more than enough for you to understand. That means they are perfect and holy and noble religious people, but knowledge is not advanced. First group. Then the second group, who have achieved full final attainment with the threefold knowledge. Here, few of them get this threefold knowledge. Recollections of their previous birth. Only few of them can recall their previous existence, but not others. It depends on their meditation that they have developed during their early life or previous birth. How far they have developed that particular mental faculty through meditation to remember their previous birth. Many other Arahants cannot remember this. Next one, divine eyes. Divine eyes mean many things that we cannot see through our naked eyes. Those who have attained Arahanthood can see. Take for instance, now we cannot see spirit or ghost. But Arahants can see if they exist here. And we cannot see devas or angels or Brahma, but Arahants can see, communicate with them. And not only this, so many other things that exist, they can see to their penetrating knowledge. They use eye consciousness, this organ, to see things to their knowledge. So we haven't got this. Then, the knowledge that they gain to understand the previous birth of others. Very few can do that. Now I do not know where you come from, whether you come from China or somewhere else. So I haven't got that knowledge. But certain Arahants and the Buddha is, of course, no question, straight away can tell you were, or you have come from heaven or hell or animal kingdom or China or Siberia, nobody knows, but they can understand that knowledge. Then complete purity in their mind. Of course, every Arahant maintains this. Complete purity. And there is another problem between the Buddha and Arahant. Habits. The Buddha is the only teacher who can get rid of previous habits. But Arahants are not free. Still they use their habits. There are many examples. Certain things that they used to do during their previous birth. But they are not bad things. Neutral. They are neither good nor bad, but mere mental habits, but can become nuisance to others. One of the Arahants, when he talked to others, he used very funny language. Many people had misunderstanding. Little bit of abusive language. But he is an Arahant. Then they have complaints. Why this person, supposed to be an Arahant, used this abusive language? Then the Buddha says, you must understand, he is using his mental habit that he used during his so many previous births. So still he is not free from that habit. But it is not a bad thing or bad karma. Another thing. Little bit of emotional feeling Arahants have. The Buddha is free from that. Example. Sariputta, the chief disciple, famous for wisdom. What did he say? I think you can remember. He said, I heard there were so many Buddhas who existed earlier, and there will be many more in time to come. Even then, I believe that you are the best among all the Buddhas. Then the Buddha laughed and asked Sariputta, do you know anything about those Buddhas who appeared earlier? No, I do not know. Right? Do you know anything about the future Buddhas? I do not know. Then how can you say I am the best? That is called emotion. Arahants are not free from this. Another incident. One day, Sariputta and group of monks visited a place. The Buddha also visited this place. At night time, they have arranged beds for all those monks to sleep. So what happened? All the other monks occupied the available beds. When Sariputta, he is the chief of the Sangha community, elderly monk, when he visited that place, no bed for him to sleep. Then he started to think, these disciples, these monks have no manners. I am the elders, I am the leaders. Even then, they never thought that they must keep a bed for me to sleep. So, he woke up. Spent the whole night under a tree. Next day morning, the Buddha, when he came out, he saw Sariputta was sitting under a tree. Then the Buddha came and said, Sariputta, what are you doing here? Where did you sleep last night? I have no bed to sleep. Those monks have occupied the bed. What can I do? I can spend whole night here under. Therefore, I have decided, in future, I am not going to lead. I am not going to guide these. Of course, he did not use the bad word. I use this word. He used it. I don't want to lead these stupid fellows. He never used that word. I got fed up with it. That is called emotion. Then the Buddha says, you should not think like this. You are the elders, you are the leaders. You have to guide them. Don't get fed up like this. Now you can see even certain emotional weaknesses amongst the Arahants. Buddha is completely free from these problems. So the second group maintain complete purity and knowledge to understand, recall their previous birth and others' previous birth, and to see things which we cannot see. Then the third group maintain, in addition to insight, psychic feat of all kind of levitation. Very few Arahants can do that. That means they can appear and disappear and reappear somewhere else. Very few of them can do among the Arahants. Then, mind reading. Few Arahants can read your mind. What you think, what you need, then they can preach. But that knowledge differs when you compare the Buddhas. Because the Buddha can understand how far you can understand and what you have done earlier, previous life, to gain this highest. But Arahants cannot go so far. Just they can read immediate thoughts, existing thoughts in your mind. What you are thinking, what you really need. They cannot go beyond that. Then, hearing. First group, only divine power. Here, they got divine ears. They can hear certain sound which we cannot. Even some animals, dogs, can hear many things which we can. Certain birds can see things very clearly which we cannot see, although they are not divine eyes, sharp. So when they develop their psychic power, they use this psychic power through their senses. That is called divine eyes, divine ears. So few Arahants can hear the sound from far distance, even from another country. Sound vibration. Then, the last group possess 4 qualities. This is very important. Chatu Patisambhida, 4 kind of knowledge. They are higher than all the others. Artha, Dharma, Nirutti, Patibhana, 4 qualities. Artha means the real meaning of every word of the Buddha's teaching. Correct meaning, interpretation. Many other Arahants cannot. Dharma, can remember, can appreciate, can understand clearly the Dhamma taught by the Buddha. Others cannot, only little bit. Nirutti, the language, interpretation, or the root of the word, Nirutti. Now let us take this word, Dhamma. What is the root of this word? Dhar. What is the meaning of dhar? Hold. then they can interpret, explain. And the language that they speak, they can use that language fluently. Very clear interpretation. Few Arahants. There are some stories in Dhammananda. Lot of complaints came to the Buddha. Some disciples, after listening to other disciples, Arahants, they say, we cannot understand what they talk. Some others say, oh, very long, they get fed up, very boring. Some others say, we cannot understand anything what they talk. All these complaints. That means they haven't got all these good qualities. And some others, when they start to preach, people walk out slowly. Not interested. They do not know the technique, the language, the words, interpretation. Then Patibhan, the last one, they are understanding, realization. We cannot talk, we cannot explain to others anything that we cannot understand. There must be some sort of understanding in our mind to tell others. Then we can explain with confidence. Otherwise, as a theory. So if we know what we talk, then we can tell others with confidence. So, the last group of Arahants possess these four: Artha, Dharma, Nirutti, Patibhana. The meaning of every word, and can understand and appreciate the real Dhamma taught by the Buddha. Can find out the root and the cause of every word, every item in the Dhamma, and develop their realizations of the Dhamma. Now these are the four. Again divided into two groups. Those who can perform miracles and those who do not or who cannot. Two groups. That depend on their meditation. Earlier, who have developed their mind through jhana meditation or samatha meditation, attain these certain jhanic stages, they can perform certain supernatural or supernormal or miraculous power. But they are worldly supernatural power. Worldly. Not spiritual development. Many who have developed this have committed a lot of bad things because the mental purity is not there. Complete purity. But who have attained arahanthood through this method, in the end, perfections and jhana, they can perform miracles. The Buddha did not encourage. Those who practice vipassana meditation, means realization, do not perform any miracle and they have not developed the psychic power and they are not interested. Two groups of arahants. Those who perform miracles and those who do not are not interested. Now this is the nature of arahants. So I try to explain in various ways. I hope one day you too attain this arahanthood. What is this? Barley. Mattha devanaga mahindika punyantam anumoditva jirang rakkhantu loka sasanam ittavata hi sampatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya devo asatu kalena sassa sampatti hetu ca pito bhavatu loko ca raja bhavatu dhammiko idango jati nango tu sukita hontu nyatayo imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hontu yava nibbana pattiya.